Okay, so now is when the party really gets started, because in this video, I'm going to break down how we look at keyword market share during the product analysis phase, going through this example of a golf travel bag. And I think honestly that this automation and this approach and strategy is probably one of the most significant parts of the course. So understanding how to do this, again, with the automations, it's super easy, can be a tremendously powerful competitive advantage to making sure that you select the right products. And then later on in the course, we're going to use this data to sculpt a listing and think strategically about the keywords that we target both in our listing and with our pay-per-click and organic ranking tracking strategy. So let's figure out how to actually use this keyword dominator tool, which pulls in data from Helium 10 Cerebro, which reverse looks up the organic rank of competitive ASINs we want to look at. And it also looks at the brand analytics keywords within Amazon Seller Central. So the first step is to go to Amazon.com or the international marketplace that you're actually assessing for a particular product and type in the keyword that most describes the product that you're actually analyzing. So we're going to go over to Amazon.com here, the US marketplace, and just type in golf travel case or bag. We can do travel case, that, and it's going to pull up a bunch of options. And then what we're going to do is do a Cerebro reverse lookup. What I typically like to do, since we don't actually have a product yet, is to first select the product that is most likely going to be the product that we're actually creating. So in this case, we're kind of toying with this hard case. So I'm probably going to select that first, even though the soft shell cases are going to be ones that we want to analyze how they're doing from a keyword performance standpoint. So if I go up here to Cerebro, the next step is basically to pull up X-Ray. And then I'm just going to go ahead and select the most relevant competitors that are actually doing well from a revenue standpoint. And again, I usually like to select the first product as one that I'm actually looking at doing. So the Samsonite is the one that's really successful and it's the hard shell. So I'm going to select that one first. And then I'm literally just going to go along here and look at some of the other competitors that are doing well. So we got the Hamal, that's the kind of the alpha. This guy's got bags. There's another hard case by SKB. There's another one doing 150 grand. Caddy Daddy's doing 35. Actually, let's do this one because it's 96. This guy. Titleist, a branded player. Get another Caddy Daddy in there. Athletico. Okay, so we got 10 already. Another thing that you can do, since in this case we're potentially looking at hard cases, you may want to run one just for hard cases and one just for soft cases. So you can actually do this from multiple perspectives. Another thing I like to do is if there's a lot of branded players in a category, I'll run the keyword analysis just for the branded players, and then I'll look at the more Amazon native brands that are selling well and do those separately. For simplicity, we're just going to run these 10 for now. Basically go up to here and hit this run keyword search, and it's going to pull into Helium 10. And so what we're going to want to do here is just refine the criteria a little bit just to make sure that the CSV file output is more manageable. So I'll usually limit the keyword volume to about 300 searches a month. If you've got a smaller category, like the impact tape is a pretty small category, I'll probably go down to like 50 or 100 monthly searches. But if it's a larger category doing decent volume, you probably want to run that at about 300 minimum monthly search volume or maybe 500 minimum, just to make sure that your data set is not too insane and not too crazy and you're focused on the words that matter. So it looks like it's wrapped up here. Let's just let it do its thing and boom. So I'm just going to come in here to this minimum search volume and make that 300. And then I'm going to come over to the word count and make that 1. I'll hit apply. It's going to do its thing again and we are done. So what I'm going to do here is export the CSV. Okay. So once that's exported, I'm going to go back to the keyword dominator and I'm going to go to the Cerebro tab here. Click on that one. And then literally just in cell A1, we're going to go to File, Import. I'm going to go to Upload. I'm just going to drag that CSV over there. And then I'm going to drop down to Replace Data at Selected Cell. Go Import Data. And then it's going to import that into this file. So we're done with the Cerebro step. So again, we basically taken a search on Amazon. We found the 10 competitors that most align, selecting the one that's most like our product first, pulled that into this analysis here and added it to the keyword dominator. The next step before we've actually created a product and we're analyzing the keyword market share, we want to actually go into brand analytics if you've got it and run some analysis on keyword terms within brand analytics. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to create another sheet here. We're going to go back to this search that we just did. And then I'm going to go to the Chrome extension again on Helium 10. And instead of X-ray, I'm going to actually select ASIN Grabber. And the thought here is that we want to pull every single ASIN that's pulled here on the front page. And we're going to dump all of those ASINs into the brand analytics keyword searches to pull and extract all of the ASINs that are either getting the first, second, or third click share for a particular keyword search. So you basically just hit this toggle here to select all of the ASINs and then go to this download CSV report. Hit save there. And then we've downloaded that. We'll go back to the keyword dominator. And then in this sheet that we just created, let's just go to import, upload, drag that over here. Again, replace data at selected cell. And then this is basically just a full dump of, let's kind of see how many ASINs we've got here. It's a full dump of 118 ASINs. So we're going to copy that list. That's the list that we're actually going to run the brand analytics, and it's going to find for any one of these 118 ASINs, if it's the top 1, 2, or 3 click share, it's going to identify what that keyword is, and we're going to pull that into this market research analysis here for the keywords. So you're going to want to go over to your Amazon account, and then once you're in your Amazon account, go to brand analytics, and then this is the dashboard that you're going to see. So what we're going to do is I like to select this as monthly. You can also run it as quarterly as well, depending on the market, but I'm just going to look at the month of August, which is the previous month. And then all I'm going to do is go to this enter ASINs, and I'm going to copy in all 118 or whatever it was ASINs into here, and then I'm going to hit apply. And then really quickly, Amazon is going to analyze all 118 ASINs and pull in again any of the keyword search terms that had the number 1, number 2, or number 3 clicked share here. So we see this. Then what we're going to do is go ahead and download this as a CSV so we can kind of extract the data out of Seller Central. And this tends to take a minute or so. And then we're going to go ahead and take that file, go back to our keyword dominator, and go to this brand analytics tab. We can actually delete this now that we've copied all the ASINs just to clean up the spreadsheet a little bit. And then we go to brand analytics. Again, go to cell A1. For both these, you're going to want to make sure that you're on cell A1 when you import it, otherwise it will error out. Then you go to import again, go to upload. Just go ahead and drag this sucker over here. And then replace data at selected cell, import data, and boom. So now we've got both the reverse ASIN competitive analysis from Cerebro, and then we've got all of these search terms from brand analytics. We're then going to go to this master keyword dominator tab, and now the magic is going to happen, and we're going to run this. So if you come up here and go to sync new data, you want to import data, and then it's going to run its script. When you do this for the first time, you're going to need to give all the permissions and access, so just feel free to do that. And then it'll basically run this. It'll take, 30 seconds to a minute, and it'll be done. Now, one thing that it will do is that it's going to ask for basically the first ASIN that we pulled into our Cerebro search. So we're going to come back here and find that Samsonite case. Here's the Samsonite case. And that's the ASIN that we need to actually input for this E1. So we just enter that ASIN there, and then it's going to pull it in right here. And boom, it is complete. So a couple things that we can kind of piece together at this stage. What it's basically doing is it's taking, say, this Samsonite ASIN as an example, and it's running an analysis to figure out how many keywords does it have in the top 10. And then it's adding up all of the monthly search volume for that particular ASIN. And then what it's doing is it's basically taking this 121,000, it looks like search volume here, and it's dividing that in to figure out what percentage of the monthly searches does this particular ASIN have a top 10 ranking in. And in this case, it's 53%. And it's based on a score of 3. So it's looking at all of the keywords that have at least 3 of these ASINs or more when it determines that keyword market share. You will see sometimes, especially for this top 30% volume, where it's actually more than 100%. And in this case, we can actually see that this guy's more than 100%. And that basically just means that this ASIN here, it has a search term that is ranked really well for that's not in this 3 or more thing. So what we can tend to do here to run that again is just to put that at 1 if we start to see stuff like that. And then we can sync new data. And then you'll see here it looks a little bit cleaner there when we do a search based on 1. So the next thing that we want to do, just to get a cursory understanding of the market, is we want to take the product that's most like ours and put that in here. If you're obviously doing a keyword analysis on your actual product, you would put your product in here. But we're just going to kind of pretend that the Samsonite one, which is most like our product, is in there. And then the next two that we're going to do is to take what I like to call the ELF ASINs, or the ASINs that are doing really well in the space. And we want to kind of see how those guys are doing across different keywords. So we'll go ahead and paste special. And then it looks like this guy's the next one that's doing really well. We'll paste special there. Put those in there. And then what that's going to do is going to show all of the brand analytics search terms where any 3 of these have the top 1, 2, or 3 click share. So we can kind of see our ASIN is in blue here, or the Samsonite ASIN that we're actually looking at targeting is in blue. This ELF ASIN here is in red, and then the third guy's in yellow. So we can just get a pretty good view of on those brand analytics terms where they're getting good click share. The final thing that we can do here is just pull in these ELF ASINs. So we click those targets on the top, and then we just go add ELF ASINs. And what that's going to do is it's going to pull in any search terms that they're ranked in the top 10 on those 2 ASINs, and it's going to put it here in this target keyword section. So we get a really full view of exactly where the most relevant keywords are in the space that these top successful ASINs are. It's going to pull in the ELF ASIN performance and any that are top 10 there. And it's going to also give us a view of this brand analytics. But the most important thing this tells us during the product research stage is just it lets us know who's getting really good organic ranking for keywords that matter and who aren't. So in this case, we can see there's clearly 2 ASINs here that have, in this case, 18%, in this case, 22% of the top 10 search volume for anybody in this category for the relevant words. So we know that these guys are really good. It also lets us know for these hard shell examples that we're looking at going after. In this case, Samsonite is the best of the hard shells. So they're getting 11% of the search volume for this broader travel bag category. And then this next dude here that's also a hard shell is only getting 5%. So it gives us a really good idea on where folks are ranking and who to watch out for in terms of performance and who we're likely going to be competing against when it comes to vying for organic search on Amazon. The other thing that we can do later on, which we will get into, is we can really kind of see the prioritization of words that we may want to focus on. So we can kind of see here based on the lowest search frequency rank, which means that it's got higher monthly search volume. We can kind of sort by that just to see, hey, of all these relevant words, what are the ones that have the most bang for the buck in terms of search volume and search frequency rank. And then again, we can kind of see where the Samsonite is ranking. We can see where that Alpha Dog is ranking, and then the second Alpha Dog is ranking. So this will come in really handy when we create our listing, when we start thinking about what keywords we want to target, when we look at our launch strategy on pay-per-click, and when we want to manage the day-to-day operations of our ASIN as it matures. So we'll get into that in later videos, but really for this product research stage, we just want to get an idea of what the market looks like, and we can kind of see that here. I've also done this analysis just to save some time for the push cart idea, so we can kind of see who's who in the zoo for the push cart idea. And then I've also done it for this golf impact tape, which is a much smaller ASIN, and you can see it's a lot more fragmented in terms of what the brand analytics keywords are. So we'll get into those later as well. The other thing, just to understand the workflow a little bit, because this travel bag's already been vetted for the ROI analysis, and it's kind of the next step is to do the keyword analysis. If you don't want to do these analysis on your own, what you can do is you can come in here and then, like Paulo on my team, I can take Paulo and say, please run the keyword market share analysis using these ASINs. And then I could kind of come in here and I could literally just select all of the ASINs that I wanted Paulo to run this on in Cerebro. I could go up here and grab this guy and basically select all 10 of them. And then I don't even need to run this if I've got a team, right? So I could basically kind of tag this for Paulo. Paulo's going to see this when he starts the day. He'll run the analysis. And then when he's done this keyword analysis, he can basically drag it over to the keyword analysis section, copy in the spreadsheet of the analysis that he's done here. And then he could just come in here and tag me and say, it's ready, and then do a link to that file. So ClickUp can be a really good workflow as you kind of see these product ideas go from stage one to the ROI analysis to the keyword analysis and then ultimately to the sourcing stage. So if I come in here and I look at this keyword analysis, I'm like, you know what, we're still good to go. It's ready for the next phase. I can then go ahead and carry this travel bag over to sourcing ready, and now it's entered a new workflow. So I hope that's been valuable. Watch this again. You probably will need to watch this a couple times, but this is probably one of the more valuable steps and the more competitive steps you can use to set yourself apart from the competition and to really have a leg up in terms of how you look at competitiveness from a product development stage on Amazon.